Has your team exceeded, met, or failed expectations in 2025 so far up to round 11? I'm going to do a tier maker in this video, separating each team into these three categories. Let's get started. So first up here, we've got the Adelaide Crows, and I'll put us in exceeded. Most people either predicted the Crows to finish from the start of the year around probably about, I would say, 6th to, I don't know, about 12th. I think most people didn't think that the Crows will be in the eight in this period of time. It's, yeah, the Crows have been in the eight for the entirety of the year so far. Um, beaten some had some really good wins. I think four over 60. But the thing is, we haven't been side in the top eight apart from GWS. So to show that, the Crows are a big contender, we'll probably have to beat those top four, top eight sides. Brisbane next, Met. They've had quite a few unconvincing wins, not gonna lie. They're second, but they lost to Melbourne, who are actually half decent now, but they drew to North Melbourne. That's probably the turning point. Like, I don't think they're really as convincing. Um, their wins haven't been convincing, apart from probably last week against Hawthorn. Before that, their wins haven't been that good. Like, most of them haven't been that good. So, Met will probably do for them, even though they're second. Carlton failed. They started the season 0-4. They recovered a little bit and went to 4-5 with a couple of good wins over Geelong and St Kilda, but the past couple of weeks they've lost their games. Against GWS they were poor, and the last couple of weeks in general they've been pretty poor. And most people expect them to be in the eight, and they're like 12th or something. So can't really have them higher than failed, to be honest. But they haven't really failed big time. They still have potential. Collingwood exceeded. Premiership favourites at the moment, 9-2. They've just been exceptional, even with injuries. They still play good. They get the jobs done. They've had quite a few good wins against some top sides. The most impressive one being against probably Brisbane a couple of weeks ago. They won like that by like 10 goals. So definitely exceeded everyone's expectations, even though we all expect them to be good, but not as good as this. Essendon, I wouldn't say they've failed expectations, met, because no one has predicted them to be close to the top eight. Um, they're 6-4, but their percentage is like 85. Really poor, like for the team in that position. Like their losses have been big losses. They can't beat anyone in the top eight. They only beat the poor sides, even not by much. Even those wins haven't been convincing. Like last week against Richmond, Port Adelaide, they've been all very small wins. So, but they haven't been terrible. So I'll just put them in Met. Fremantle, I'll probably put them at the same position about Met. Um, they've had a short, sort of shaky start to the year. They were like 0-2. They recovered a bit. They've been a bit up and down their form. Like a few weeks ago, they were pretty poor. Like against St Kilda was the turning point for them almost. Like they lost that by 10 goals against not a top eight side in St Kilda, and then against Collingwood they lost. But the past couple of weeks they've bounced back and won games, and they could be a top eight side this year. I'll put them in Met. I don't think they've really failed because of that. They're 6-5. Geelong, I mean, Met because they've been good, but they haven't. They're not in the top four like I was expecting them to be from the start of the year. They're fifth with 7-4 record. They've been good in recent times. They had a good win over the Bulldogs. They've had a couple of good wins against fellow top eight sides, but they've lost a couple as well. They started the year off shaky, probably losing. They lost the first two out of the three games, but since then they've been pretty strong. To be fair, Gold Coast definitely stands out the most. Exceeded. Oh, they're like 8-2. They started the season on fire, and this could be the year for Gold Coast. Surely this is the year they make finals. They can't choke from this, can they? They've been really exceptional in some of the games, and even against the top eight sides, they've been a couple. They've beaten up a couple of the top eight sides as well. So that really cements them as a pretty good contender for the deep end of the finals. GWS, this one's a tough one. It's either met or failed. Uh, I might put them in failed, but not a huge fail. They've been all right, but they've had a few week stretch where they have been quite shaky. They've had some poor games, like Fremantle a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what happened there. Like they were they were poor that game, but against Carlton last week they bounced back, and then overall this year they've been a bit shaky with form, and that's why I've put them in failed. And everyone expected them to be a top four side. A lot of people for the grand final as well. Hawthorn met. They've been good, but they haven't been great. That's the story for them. The last couple of weeks they've been poor to say the least. Like last week they were not that good. They started the year off good, but they've faded away ever so slightly, and it's starting to become an issue. Like their midfield's been a bit shaky as well, which has resulted in these losses. They're 7-4, sixth, and they could be at risk of falling out of the eight if they don't pick up these wins soon. Melbourne, they started the year off so bad, and the last few weeks they've been completely the opposite to that. I'm actually going to put them in exceeded. I expected them to be a bottom four side. They've won five of the past six games. I'm ignoring the first five games, but in recent times, the last few games, they've been really good. Like, especially last week, their game against Sydney was so good. They won by over 50 against, like, last year's grand finalists. So, to say for least, like, they could get close to the eight if they keep on going in this form. And, yeah, North Melbourne, they've been poor the past few years, and not a lot's happened this year. They've been competitive some games, so I'll put them failed. Expect a couple more wins from them at this point of time. Well, they've won two, drew once. They were probably unlucky to lose a couple of the games. They could be four wins at the moment and not in this position, but they're 17th. They've been at that position since 2020. Like, they can't get anything going. Port Adelaide's a huge fail. It's the biggest fail in the league this year, this point of time. That's a big fail. Like, come on. They're bottom four, 4-7. Ben Hinkley might as well go. I think he might go actually in the next month or so. Come on, like they've lost the past four. Their losses have been big, big losses. 90 plus points against the Bulldogs, Collingwood, and another big loss against Geelong, and also a big loss against Fremantle. Like their losses, like they haven't been bad. They're not just bad losses; they're terrible losses. Like they don't even get close, and that's why I've got them as the biggest fail so far this year. Richmond, I'll put them in exceeded. You'll have to. A lot of people actually expect them to win no games, and they've won three up to this point. Can you believe it? They've been competitive in a couple of other games too, and it started from the first round with them beating Carlton. Like, no one saw that happening, and a couple of other upsets as well. Like, they've done so good with their rebuild so far. Like, it's insane. With 7 like draftees in the start of the year, right? And they've they're winning games. Like, they're all youth, and I guess youth is really sometimes makes the key for success sometimes with all that energy and spark, such as Sam Lawler and those guys. Like, yeah, that's why I've got them exceeded. St Kilda fail. They've been poor the past few weeks. They started the season like a house on fire. Like, they were 3-1 and no one expected to, but they've crashed back down to earth since that. Like, I think 1-6 in the past 7 games or something. That's that just says it all. And their losses have been pretty bad losses, like Port. I know they're sort of in a rebuild. Like, they've got, I think they're sort of in a rebuild, so sort of fair enough. But they probably need to be a bit more competitive. Sydney also failed. I don't know if it's last year's grand final loss that's putting them off, or Dean Cox's new game plan or something. I don't even know what's wrong with them. Like, 4-7, like, for last year's grand finalists, it's not good enough, really. But it's probably the curse that happens in recent years to last year's grand finalists, honestly. They've been they've been pretty depressing to watch, to say the least. Like, I haven't watched that many Sydney games this year because they're not that intriguing to watch. Like, they're not intriguing to watch, man. Like, yeah, their forward line's sort of weak, and probably everyone knows their game plan too, and their gameplay, so they just shut down those players, and they haven't done anything about it, so that's failed for them. West Coast also failed. Big, sort of a big fail for them. They've only won 1 game to this point, and plus Jake Waterman out for the rest of the year would not help them. I don't know when they're going to get their next win, but they're actually lucky to win a game, to be honest. They're just poor. The Bulldogs, that's an interesting one. Probably met at the moment because they've had a mixed start to the year at 6-5. They've had a couple of fantastic games, but I think they were unlucky to lose a couple too because of poor umpiring decisions and stuff. They probably should be in the top 4. They probably deserve to be. They're the best probably side outside the top 4, honestly. And that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.